All right, hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully, if you're new here, my name is Dana and I'm a real estate investor. I also resell on the side. You can see some of the stuff in the background. That's stuff that I sell on eBay and Amazon. Anyways, I make my full-time income though selling contracts. I get properties under contract and then I wholesale assign them to other end buyers. Could be an end user, could be an investor, could be a homeowner, just depends on the situation. And I'm starting a little series where I'm gonna tell you about a deal that I did, where I got the deal, what the situation was, how I sold the deal, where I found the title company, where I found the buyer, all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in seeing kind of a little bit of a story of a deal from start to finish, from lead to close, then stay tuned. Check out the last video that I would have just did. I told you about a lot where I turned a $25 lead into a $10,000 assignment paycheck. This one I'm going to tell you how I turned a, I think $25. No, yeah, I think this was a $25 lead as well into a $5,000 paycheck. So not as good, but it's still a pretty good story because it's one that I guarantee you most wholesalers would have turned down and been like, hey, there's no deal here, and wrote it off. And instead I turned it into $10,000. So follow me on Instagram. Check out the links in the description if you want to get some discounts or even free leads to sellers where you can call and try and make this stuff happen yourself. Check out the links in the description below. So anyways, the one I'm going to tell you about came from a Ppl lead. Ppl is pay per lead. So I sign up for a service through Ispeedtolead, Leadzolo, and propertyleads, depending on which one it is. They send me a lead and then I call them and try and turn it into a deal. This one was a $25 vacant land lead that came from Leadzolo. Again, description if you want to check it out. So I paid $25 for the lead. They sent it to me. I call the lady and I say, hey, tell me what's going on. What's the situation with the house? Is it land? Like, I'm not really sure what's going on here. And she said, yep, it's just land. There is a trailer on it, but the trailer's kind of in dumpy condition. And so I'm basically selling just the land. It is 5 acres and plus the trailer. But again, there's basically no value for it. So it's really just the 5 acres. I looked online and I said, you know, I saw, unless I'm mistaken, you just bought this like 4 months ago. And I said, what's going on? And she said, well, my dad has bad health and I need to move across country and go live near him. I was intending to fix the place up, live on the trailer or live in the trailer, and I paid cash for it. I put like all my cash into getting this situation, and now I need to move and I can't just sit on it because I paid cash for it. I need to get that money back out of it so I can make the move and go live near dad. And I was like, gotcha. Well, situation is I'm an investor and I've got to get it at a discount. And if it was on market for like 6 months before you bought it at the price you bought it for, it's going to be tough for me to be able to make an offer that pays you what you paid for it. What are you hoping to get for it? And she said, well, I just paid 95 grand. She did. She paid 95 grand for it 4 months prior. And she said, I just want as much as I can get. Like if I can get 80, 85 out of it, I would be happy. And I was like, you know, that's probably higher than I can do, but let me see what I can do. I'm not sure, but let me see what I can do. And I said, but are you open if I bring you an offer to, you know, seller financing, something like that, if it got you a higher number? She's like, I would if it was the last option, but I would prefer to just cash out and be done and move on. And I said, okay, gotcha. Let me make some calls. Let me see what I can do and we'll go from there. So first thing I did when I got off with her is I looked to see if there was any builders in the area, somebody who was buying lots and might want to buy this one to sit on it, to build it, whatever. And I saw that around her parcel, so there was her 5 acres right here, all of the land up and around and down around was all owned by one other person except her parcel that was owned by her. Everything else was owned by this one guy. And I said, you know, I bet you that guy would want that land so he could make his lot bigger, right? Expand his empire. I don't know what he's doing. And so I skip traced it. I skip traced the owner of that land. I called him and I said, hey, would you have any interest in this lot? It's the 5 acres. It's got the trailer on it. Trailer's probably of no value, unknown utilities, all that kind of stuff. But it's right next to all of your other land and it would just basically extend you through the end of where your other lots are. And he said, actually, I'd be really interested in that. And he said, what can you get it to me for? Like, what are you asking for it? And I said, well, here's the situation. The lady just paid $95,000 for it, and she's kind of in an urgent need to sell. So I'm negotiating kind of on her behalf to see what we can do that makes sense for everybody. And I said, she's asking the 95 that she paid for it, but we understand that you're going to want to get a deal if you're going to close on this quickly. That's kind of the situation. We want a quick close, guaranteed cash offer situation. And I said, could you do 80? And he said, let me think about it. And so I called him back the next day and I said, hey, what did you think? And he said, I don't think I want to do the 80. My nephew, though, is interested in buying some land, and I'm willing to loan him the money for him to buy it, but I'm only willing to pay $75,000. That's as high as I'm willing to go, right? I asked for 80, he got 75. He's getting over on me for $5,000, whatever. And I said, let me verify with her if that works, but I think we can get something done. I said, if you're willing to pay all the closing costs and I can get it at 75, are you able to close on this next week? And he said, yep, I'll close on it. I've got the cash. We will get this done next week. If you can get it to me for 75,000, I'll pay all the closing costs. No big deal. So I called the lady up and I said, hey, I got great news. And she said, oh my God, like, you're my lifesaver. What do you got for me? And I said, I've got someone who's willing to buy it, but the number has to be net 70,000 to you. That's where it needs to be. We'll cover all the closing costs. He'll pay me a fee out of the number that's above and beyond that, but I can get you $70,000 and I can get it for you by the end of next week, assuming title can have all the paperwork done that fast. And she goes, I'll take it. I need the money. I need it to be fast. You're a lifesaver. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She went on for like 5 minutes telling me how much of a lifesaver it's going to be. And I'm like, let's get it done first before you thank me too much. But let's get it started. So I'm going to send you an agreement that says we're going to give you $70,000 cash. We're going to pay closing costs. We're going to close as soon as title can get that done. So I sent that to her. I got that signed. I then sent the assignment agreement to the buyer for $75,000 plus buyer pays all closing costs. Close as soon as title can process the paperwork. He signed that assignment. So it was all at the same time. I had a buyer before I even had a seller, technically. You're not supposed to do that, by the way. That's can be considered brokering without a license. But since I didn't officially offer it, I was like, if I could get this, if I could do this, would you be interested? And I didn't officially offer it to him until I had it under contract, so I didn't break the law. So if you're watching, F you for whoever would get me in trouble for that. I don't know if you can get in trouble for that or not, but you're not supposed to do it that way. Anyways, so I called 3 different title companies as soon as I got all the contracts signed. The first one was like, what is an assignment? What do you mean, do you do assignments? And I was like, oh Lord, if you don't know what it is, you're not going to be comfortable with this. Called the next one. This is in rural Missouri. This is in rural Missouri. So there's not a lot of title companies around here anyways. And so I called the next one and they were like, what's an assignment? And I'm like, okay, again, this is not for you. Called the third one. It's a little bit further away. And they said, absolutely, we do assignments. No problem. We just need it to be clear that it says, that you're getting an assignment on the contract. And so I always put on mine, my purchase contract says that I may assign this contract. And it says that I'm buying it for investment purposes. And then on my assignment agreement to the end buyer, I put on there, this purchase price includes cash to seller and assignment fee to my LLC for a total of X dollars amount. I don't break them up. I don't tell them what each one is, but I tell them this number that you're agreeing to, the $75,000, is the fee to them, or the cash to seller and the fee to me. So anyways, that's how I found the title company. They were able to process the paperwork. It took 2 weeks, so we didn't get it done the next week. It was the week after. The seller was ecstatic. She again called me, thanking me, telling me all these amazing things that I did for her, even though it took her, she took a $25,000 loss, but she needed the cash and she was not going to get that cash that fast any other way. If she listed it on market with an agent, even if they listed it at a lower price, it might have took forever because that guy hadn't even seen that lot was available for sale on MLS for the 6 months before when she bought it. So anyways, where did I get the lead came from Ppl. Leadzolo, again, check the description if you want to check it out. No pressure on that. What was the pain that the person was facing? She needed the cash, and she needed the cash now because she had to move for a sick father. How did I find the buyer? I skip traced the neighbors and found that somebody had a whole bunch of land around her. And so I was like, who else would be the best buyer, right? That's going to be the best buyer. So I skip traced, called that person, and then negotiated backwards into getting myself an assignment fee. Had he said he would take 80, I probably would have still offered her the 70, and then maybe I would have got a $10,000 assignment. But, I'm happy with the 5 that I got for the amount of work that I put into it. How did I find the title company? I cold called title companies. That was it. I cold called title companies until I found one that said, yes, I'm familiar with assignments. Yes, we can make this happen. Here's where you send the agreements to. So I sent them the agreements. Everything was good to go. And that's how I turned $25 lead on a rural property that nobody else probably would have messed with into $5,000. So hopefully you're enjoying the series. Check it out, the other videos that I do for previous and the videos that I'm going to do next. I'll tell ones, I've got some really good stories coming up about probate deals, sellers who didn't want to sign last minute, memorandums, like the drama of real estate and wholesaling. Those will be coming up soon. But anyways, leave a comment if you liked it. Thumbs up the video if you're enjoying and hearing these stories. If you want to know where I get my contracts, where did I learn to do all this stuff, I don't know, anything, ask me in the comments or hit me up on Instagram at Dana Invests, and we'll go from there. So anyways, thanks for watching.